ever failed in winning a world title. For example, Graham Hill, Damon Hill and Phil Hill are all previous world championship winners.
Good evening everyone, welcome back to CRL for the final race of the season here in Bahrain. My name is ILT Indigo and alongside me tonight it is going to be not ILT Funny, sorry, next is Bunnies. Welcome mate, how you doing?
I'm doing great, it's good to be back. I'm very excited for this season finale. Of course the title wrapped up already, but all to play for in the midfield.
It is indeed, and it's very close in the championship in the midfield, especially P4 downwards. I've got the championship standings up to take you through. So ILT Phil is in 4th place with P's, Sahilio and C very closely matched inside that place. ILT Kenny's done a great job this season. He's in 3rd place in the championship standings and he's about 16 points ahead of Phil. Phil's been catching up rapidly, but he still hasn't won a Grand Prix this season, has ILT Phil. He's still waiting. He could have won at Singapore, but unfortunately he got disqualified from the race after crossing or overtaking the safety car before he came into pit lane and gave I think it was Sweet Crown a podium, I believe it was, and it gave me 4th place, thankfully, due to that last safety car. So yeah, there's a Celtic race there for Phil, and let's see if he get his first win of the season here in Bahrain, because he's looking very quick, but just can't seem to clench that victory. I think Sweet Crown's had the better of him, and Sahilio too, and Sahilio is not here unfortunately, as I think he did win out last time in the Dutch Grand Prix. Yes, he did.
Yeah, so we'll see how today goes in comparison. Be very interesting rules. I've just seen Jolbream making contact with Smalley Balls, and Smalley Balls getting 5th place grid penalty. So not an optimal beginning to the session for those two. And do you have a glitch as well on your screen where it says a lap 15 minutes 45 seconds?
Lap 50 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not telling me a timer, it's saying that it's lap 15:37.
Oh no, I've got a time up on my screen, it doesn't say lap, but apparently, Jolbream, did you see how it all happened down at turn 4 between those two?
Yeah, Jolbream just seems to sort of go down the inside of Smalley Balls and just sort of, I think they both were sort of expecting the other to back out a little bit more, and just the light contact, I don't think it'll affect either of them outside of the grid penalty. But of course, if it's decided to have been an unfair penalty, I would imagine there's a chance we would restart for that.
I don't think so. I think it was just, I think we only restart for blocking. But we've got Posh Evans who's completely on a lap here, or is trying to complete a lap as we go down into turn number 10, and takes it very nicely on the entry back in the throttle. And this corner here, it's very easy to spin out, especially if you take too much curb on the entry as he comes towards the end of the middle sector, using a lot of curb before he turns in for this corner. A bit of oversteer on the exit for him, but nevertheless gets a decent exit out of the corner as using all the track he can get away with as we make our way down into the final corner we go. And let's see how he takes this, clipping the apex on the entry, not too much curve on the entry because the back of the car will step out on you as he makes his way towards the line. A short route for him as it's 30.1 for the benchmark for Bosch Evans.
Yeah, so that is provisional pole. Of course, only one time on the board, but that will be our provisional pole position until we have our next driver cross the finish line. I'm trying to see who that'll be. I think it'll be Leo Aries. We'll see how he does in comparison to Bosch Evans. Rounding the final corner now, hard on the power. Let's see how this goes for the Red Bull driver. Open up the DRS, cross the line, is a 128.587, so a substantial distance ahead of Bosch Evans for the time being. 1.6 seconds ahead of Bosch Evans. So Bosch Evans, clearly some time to gain there. Leo Aries onto a provisional pole position as Jolbream immediately goes and beats that. Actually, Jolbream suddenly spinning himself into the wall. Not sure exactly what Jolbream's doing, but a 28.155 for the AlphaTauri driver. He gets out of the way of Sweet Crown, who's starting his lap through turn 1, hits the apex, touching the curb, gets solid traction through turn 3, touches the curb through turn 2, and then through through turn 3. It's going to be braking partially on the sand for turn 4. It gets a nice later turn in and hard on the power. It's still turning the car a lot throughout the acceleration out of turn 4. Finishes the first sector. According to the track map, he is purple through sector 1. Cross Liam goes thirds. But Sweet Crown still in the middle sector. We'll now wait for him to come up to turns 9 and 10 here. It's a double left-hander, easy to lock up, easy to go wide, just touches the outside curb, hits the apex, gets it straightened out, hits the DRS, and hits the gas. Let's see how he does throughout the remainder of sector 2. Turns 11, 12, 13 coming up. Let's see how he manages this nice left-hander. You can hit the throttle hard through here. It's going to be flat out to the end of sector 3, or to the end of sector 2 now, apologies. Let's see where he is. He's at a 106.493 so far. Our reigning champion at the moment, or apologies, our new champion at the moment, going down towards the last duo of corners. Realistically, just one corner considered. 2, though, hits the curb, hits the outside curb as well. Acceleration with his left-hand wheels on the curb. Open the DRS. Hit the finish line, and it's only second for Sweet Crown, a 128.361. A solid lap from him, but definitely more to be gained, as IRT Kenny also going third there. But Sweet Crown up into second and now facing backwards at the end of turn 1.
And a few minutes ago, when Jewelbury crossed the line to go P1, I saw McLaren who spun out the final corner, and that was Kyle Scarrett, unfortunately down in P15, who spun on his out lap trying to prepare for his flying lap. So not ideal for him, as he immediately headed back in the pit lane, as he wouldn't want to continue a lap, especially going especially not to complete the exit final corner at full speed. Ferg in the middle sector 6.8 as he makes his way around turn number 13 there. And Ferg's had some decent results around here too, seasons ago here in CRL. And I believe he's been on the podium here as well in the past, as for looking at the old results as well, get the old graphics up as he makes his way now towards the line. Let's see what lap time he could set in the Alpine. It's a 28.6 there for Ferg. His teammate Pease is currently out of the circuit too, going through turn 3 I believe it is. There he is in the other Alpine, and I've had some good battles with him too. I think it was back in the Singapore Grand Prix. I had a decent battle with him, trying to keep him behind me for a majority of the race. It was me, Boompje, and him as a trio until the stage car came out, and it was very difficult in Singapore, to be honest with you, because once we split up from that DRS train, it was hard to get back in it, and it was very important as well to try and get yourself in that DRS train, try to save some battery up, and just keep yourself tagging along in that train and not try and lose connection with it, because once you're out of it, it's so hard to get yourself back in it, especially with the guys ahead having DRS. And Pease exits turn number 10, I believe that is, that double left-hander where we saw Logan Sargent, who spun out of there in pre-season testing yesterday, and now we're coming towards turn 11. We saw Antonio Giovinazzi, I think it was, and Danny Kvyat, who spun there. There's a rebel in the back, I didn't even see him on my screen, but I think it's Sweet Crown. He gets out of the way as he does a 6.5 in the middle sector. Smalley Balls goes up into P2 in the Mercedes and scored a podium back at the Mexican Grand Prix, but had a few absences since then, and we make our way towards the final corner now for Total Pease. Let's see then, he won the Bahrain Grand Prix a few seasons ago ahead of Jeroen and Wouter, and here he is coming towards the line. It's a 28.3 for Pease as he goes into P3. I remember a race with Pease, it was I think season 7 or season 8, they were all battling for the lead of the Grand Prix. It was Cameron Dowds, Taze Leroy and ILTC who were all battling it out at the final lap, well, final few laps of the race, and Total Pease wiped out Shifter's Merxy at the time, who is Liam, and yeah, it ruined Liam's chance of a podium, and it was Cameron Dowds who won that day in the other Mercedes with Taze Leroy in P2. I think he picked up his first podium too seasons ago around this track. Then later on he was running on a streak without podiums until he did it last season, did ILT Leroy. Then C managed to overtake Boompje on the final lap of the race, because it was Boompje versus Pease going down into turn 5 and turn 6. They made contact and Boompje had front wing damage, whereas C managed to get on the back of him at turn 11 and overtook him around the outside to claim P3, with Boompje finishing P4. We've got Leo Aries going for another lap time with a 28.5 for the Red Bull driver as he makes his way down into the heavy braking zone at turn 1. It's a very critical corner. It's so easy to break yourself through here. It's very easy to go out wide too, as he uses a lot of curve through turn number 3. DRS enabled for the second straight. We're going to see plenty of battles happening around this particular part of the track. This is what's good for this Bahrain circuit. You get to see loads of side-by-side action around the first sector as well, as it's a 28.5, already 2.5 tenths up on the first sector, so looking good for a decent lap time, potentially P2 or P3, but we still got the middle sector and last sector to go for Leo Aries. Now making our way towards the double left-hander, turn 9 and turn 10 can be very difficult with ABS as well. He rotates the car very nicely there on the throttle, the back of the car looking just slided just a bit there, but looking very, very good so far as we go down into turn 11, braking at the black box there, clipping the apex on the inside. Don't use the curb on the outside because it will drag you off the track. We go down into turn 12, he uses a lot of curb there. We don't really see many people do that, but it's 3 tenths up in the middle sector. If he finds any more time, Leo Aries, can he take pole away from Jules Bream? I think at the Dutch Grand Prix he had a spin as well, and he fell further down the field. He fell behind me actually at the Dutch Grand Prix. And Jules Bream extends his margin, is a 28.0 for him, as Leo Aries is about to make his way towards the finish line. It's going to be a 28.2 when he goes into P2. Great lap time indeed from Leo.
Yeah, a good lap time there from the Red Bull driver, putting himself on the front row for the time being. We'll see if that's beaten. I would imagine we will see it beaten just as drivers generally improve, but that's not to say he won't improve upon it himself. Although I also wanted to point out, you mentioned Pease won a race a couple seasons ago here, but you know who else won a race here a couple seasons ago?
You?
Yep. In Season 7, Tier 3. Just wanted to say that. I'm still very proud of that win. So, just thought I'd say that. Fun circuit, and I can tell you from having one there, when you get a driver who's quick around there, they are almost impossible to overtake. It's really... So this track brings up some really good battles, because there's really good overtaking opportunities, but they also become very, very good defensive opportunities. So if you find, even if you're a little bit faster than another driver, it can be very difficult to overtake them, even though there's seemingly some amazing overtaking opportunities. The outside lines at a few of these corners towards, especially in the first sector, are impressively powerful. Turn 1 and Turn 4 both, I would not be overly surprised to see any drivers going around the outside of them, just to try and get an overtake in. It's quite impressive, some of the places you can do it, whether that be because you're on the outside or just that it's a surprising place. But nonetheless, all of the conventional spots allow for really good defense at this track as well. So I would expect to see some fantastic battles today, if I'm being completely honest.
I hope so as well. We've seen it plenty of times in the past in Tier 1. We see some great battles, like I mentioned, I think back in Season 7 or Season 8. In fact, every time we've been here at the Bahrain Grand Prix, we've seen some amazing battles throughout the seasons as well going on. Boompje in 12th place then. Let's see what he's doing on his lap. I think he is on a flying lap. He's heading down the back straight now. Approaching the final corner is CRL Boompje, and let's see what lap time he can set. I've also had some decent races with him this season too, back at the Belgium Grand Prix, and he had a puncher towards the end of the Grand Prix too, as he went on the Inters very early. Here comes Boompje, who goes into P8 with a 28.4, slots in behind CRL Nathan. Nathan's had some mighty pace as well. He's only about 5,000 slower than Sweet Crown in P2. However, Seems popped himself into P2 as well, and he had a great race at the Dutch GP until he crashed out, unfortunately. I think he did crash out at turn number 10, that left-hander, before that DRS straight, and I think he was going for the hard to soft strategy. I actually can't remember, but I did remember seeing him behind me, but there was no way of him defending because I went for an early undercut on the rest of the guys ahead, but it bat me in the ass later on, and the man in 9th place took me out later on as well with the broken wig, which is ILT Kenny. Then that safety car came out too to bunch us all up, and it was Sahili who took the lead ahead of Phil and Sieb were destined to win that Grand Prix. Look at Boompje sliding through turn number 10 there. He's not actually on a lap, I don't think. He's just trying to get himself back in the pit lane, but he's actually run out of fuel, so he won't be getting the pit lane very quickly. I hope so for his sake, because there's only about 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the session. Here's Smalley Balls on a lap. I think I remember him winning the Mexican Grand Prix but I think he got demoted down the order due to a post-race penalty, I believe it was, and that was a Celtic Grand Prix. I think it was this season where we saw that happen. It seems like a long time ago because we had that Christmas break, and also a lot of hard things have happened in CRL with attendance as well, and shifting commentators around, and some drivers or some commentators racing too. So not the season we anticipated for season 10, because it was a great season from season 1 to 9, but unfortunately all leagues have their dips and not downfalls, but I don't want to say that word, but it's just a dipping point of CRL, and hopefully it can rise up again, because we've been consistent in terms of numbers from season 1 to season 9, but at some point it's all got to go. But we've got 16 drivers here, thankfully, and not the bad attendance I thought it'd be. So hopefully when season 11 comes, we can have a banger and back to where we're supposed to be, because this is an amazing league. We're full of amazing drivers and community as well around here, and Smalley Balls is still down in the middle sector, unfortunately for him. So let's see if we can find any more time on his potential last lap. He is running out of fuel, so he doesn't have a chance to go for one more lap if he wants to, with the tyres, the ERS and fuel as well. And he makes his way around the final corner. He can't go in the pit lane, otherwise, well, he don't have enough time. Here he is coming towards the line. It's a 28.1, so he does improve in the last sector and pops his Merc into P3.
Yeah, that's a great lap there from the Mercedes driver, putting himself into P3 for the time being. We've got 5 different teams in the top 5 as it stands, which is always quite exciting to see. And of course, lots of drivers coming out of the pits now, so we'll see some hot laps starting up pretty soon. Bosch Evans parking the car on the run down to the final corner for whatever reason. I'm not going to question that. It's just a bit confusing. Leo Aries, though, should be the first to start a flying lap if Bosch Evans doesn't get going, which he's doing at about 5 kilometers per hour.
I like to drink sparkling water, but only once it's gone flat. Have you ever tried flat water?
Like tap water?
I don't know. What. It's the same person who said that Basil Fox shaved his nose whilst the safety car came out. But we're coming towards the final few stages of qualifying. Look at the comment section on the YouTube channel. We've got Leo Aries going for his final lap here around the Belgian Grand Prix. Baku? Bahrain. Full of B's, but can't get the right B. Here we are at the Bahrain Grand Prix, then headed down into turn 1. Both Red Bulls on their last lap. Looks like he's giving a toe to his teammate. I think Leo Aries made a slight mistake out of turn number 1 there, but I think he's out. He's just hit the wall completely where Nikita Mazepin spun in 2021 Bahrain Grand Prix, and unfortunately has ruined his lap time. Probably picked up too much throttle on the entry and spun the car around, so his lap time's done and dusted. He's broke his wing. Qualified is done for him. Sweet Crown is a 600th up in the first sector, purple first sector for him as his final attempt here in qualifying. Dual Bream sets the benchmark with Sieb in P2, but what about the others? Can Sweet Crown respond? What about Relentless Peas, who's currently on his outlap? What about Leo Aries? The answer is no to him because he's broke his wing. We just saw it out of turn number 3, but Sweet Crown a decent exit out of turn 10. DRS enabled for the 3rd DRS zone around here, going down into turn number 11, braking at the black box. Let's see if he hits the curve very nicely there, back on the throttle, no signs of the car stepping out on him as we go down into turn number 12. Flat out right hander, rolls very difficult in the olden games. If you touch that curb, the curb would spin you, but I think there's enough downforce in these cars not to do that. There's a 10th up in the middle sector, but I don't think a 10th is good enough to beat Dual Bream's lap time unless you can find any more time in the last sector. ILT Phil and Pink Eye haven't set a lap time just yet, and Sweet Cloud's making his way towards the line. What's it going to be for the Dutchman? It's his P3 with a 28.1. He found a bit of time in that last sector. It's only good enough for P3, but Dual Bream is still on pole position then. Is anybody out there to try and dethrone him? Peas is a few hundreds up. All these drivers lined up together, line astern, completing their final laps. We've got next across the line, it's Leo Aries, but he's not going to improve, unfortunately for him. Ferg is 2/10 up in the middle sector, looking to gain about 8th or 9th as somebody's moved up the order. I think it was Nathan who's got into P6 there. Sieb in P2. Ferg crossed the line now. He goes into P9 behind his teammate. Some more drivers are heading off into pit lane. What about Dual Bream? Can he improve on his own lap time? He can in the middle sector. Yes, he is. Overall, he's on pole. But where is Sieb? Sieb is in P2. He's down in the middle sector. Pease goes up into P3. Out qualifies Sweetcrown. And Sieb cannot improve. He stays in P2. The Aston Martin of Pink Eye crosses the line in P3. Where's ILT Phil? ILT Kenny goes into P2 with a 28.0. And what a lap time from him. The man in P3, the championship, doing a very good job. But look at that, the top three with a 28.0. Incredible stuff indeed. ILT Phil can only go 9th place.
Yeah, crazy close qualifying session there. The top three all separated by around about 600ths of a second there, so that is really, really incredible between those drivers. Julebream, Kenny, and Sieb are your top three, and we'll see how this race goes, but I have to say I'm very excited for it. If this qualifying session is anything to go by, I think it's going to be phenomenal.
I hope so indeed. Oh no, it won't be pole for Julebream, because remember, he has a 5-place grid penalty. So ILT Kenny will be on pole ahead of Sieb. P's in P3, Sweetcrown in P4, Leo Aries in P6. Smalley Balls has a 5-place grid penalty too. So we completely forgot about the 5-place grid penalties. So the people who were surrounded with Smalley Balls and Julebream will move up 5 places. But yeah, Kenny's on pole there with a 28.0. He'll be taking them down into turn 1 first. I don't think there'll be a lobby restart after this, due to a 5-place grid penalty being in contact and not holding people up. Usually, you have a lobby restart if it's illegal blocking, but when it comes to contact, that's your own fault. You have to get out of the way for other people or not hit them. So that's self-inflicted there for, unfortunately, Smalley Balls and Julebream.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this race. I suspect you're probably right that it won't be a lobby restart. But I have to ask you now, of course, who do you think is your favorite to win this race?
Oh, I don't know, honestly, mate. I haven't really... it's the DRS train and the drivers... It's gonna be so close for sure, but I have no idea. Anything could happen, really. What about Sweetcrown? What about Nathan further down? ILT Phil, does he have the pace in the race to get back up there? Sieb, as well, tries to go for his first win. He's been threatening it back at the Belgian Grand Prix and also at the Dutch Grand Prix, but just can't seem to string it together. I don't know if he crashed due to contact or just plainly a mistake there, but I have honestly no idea, to be honest with you. It could be any of the top 8, really.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is very difficult to pick a favorite for this race win. I'll put that out there before you even ask me. That I'm not sure either, truth be told. But I am nonetheless very much looking forward to this race and finding out who will win in the end. So let's just wait and see, I suppose. I wonder what the strategy will be like. Of course, Bahrain, a very abrasive circuit on the tires. We'll see how the drivers manage that, and we'll see if they can sort of get around that, or if they'll have to stick to the harder compound tires for the race. We'll see how it goes.
I don't think nobody in Tier 3 ran the soft compound tyres. I don't expect to see the softs being used. In fact, we are, with Bosch Evans down in P16. Got nothing to lose, obviously, so he's going to go for an aggressive start, trying to overtake those people around him. We've got 3 medium runners, ILT Phil, Relentless Taupe, and Jack Sparrow in P15 there. And we'll see how they do on the medium compound tyres. So Kenny is P1. I'm not quite sure if he's won a race this season. Judging by memory, I don't think he has won a race this season. I think he's came very close, like Miami was one of them, I remember. But overall, he's scored a few podiums now and then, but hasn't been able to be close enough to take that victory. And judging by the results, he still hasn't got a race win. I don't think he's got a race win overall in CRL. So Kenny, overall in his CRL career, has been very, very quick. I remember when he scored his first podium of the season, I think it was, or first podium in his career, I think it was the Hungarian Grand Prix, about 1 or 2 seasons ago. And he held off Nathan and Taser Leroy, I think it was, with a great defence as well. He overtook Taser Leroy, pulled away, and had to watch out for Nathan. But could this be his biggest golden opportunity for him to win here in Bahrain? What about Sieb as well? Sieb is also going for his first win of the season, as we see a few people in the distance disqualifying themselves. Sieb is also going for his first win of the season too, And Pease is also going for his first win since season 7, season 8, I dare say. Hasn't won a long time, but I know he's won here in Bahrain before. Can he repeat it again? And that was a long time ago. He had to defend from Jeroen Visser. And by the way, Jeroen, if people wondering why he's not here, it's because of a race ban season. That don't make sense. A banned, what is it? A season ban, there we go. Managed to get the words out. It was a season ban. That's why he's not racing here after taking out George Russell in Brazil. And remember the my last race of the season in Brazil? It was very chaotic. And hopefully we don't see the same thing here at Bahrain. Any last words before we get going, buddies?
No, just it's been a fantastic season, and I can't wait for the final race of it. Let's, to all the drivers, give it your best and see if you can be the final race winner of Season 10.
We're about to find out in 29 laps time in the Alpine and the Red Bull Pease and Sweet Crown, who are not parked in the right position, but who cares? I think Sebastian Vettel did that back in 2017 at the Chinese Grand Prix when he was way out of position. 4-5 lights then, and we'll see who gets a better start. And the lights are away for the last race of the season here in Bahrain. Kenny looks like he got a decent start. Seems already bogged down. He's down into P3 with Pease up into P2 defending the inside line. And Pease will take the lead of the race. Into turn 1 he goes. Can Kenny go around the outside, have the inside line for the next corner? No. Pease leads the Grand Prix. And Sweet Crown's fighting with IRTC now. They're tucked in the slipstream behind Kenny's. We go down into turn 4. Pease versus Sweet Crown. And let's see what happens down here. It's turn 4 with Sieb on the inside, but Sweet Crown has the outside line. Better traction indeed with the racing line, but Sieb's not willing to give up. He's still in there. Turn 6 and turn 7 to go wheel to wheel, but in contact too. And Sieb there has to bail out the throttle. He's got Jewel Bream alongside him. Now he's going down the inside. What a terrible start there for IRTC. Unfortunately, Phil is up into P6 on those medium compound tyres already. But Boompje has had a problem. He's down into P16. Has had a spin, unfortunately, for the Dutchman. Now headed this double left-hander. Ferg is ahead across Liam, but it's Pease who leads the Grand Prix.
Yeah, great start there for Pease, gaining 2 positions off the start, and a good start there from Sweet Crown as well. Shame for Pink Eye and Boompje, though, as they collided and spun round. Cross Liam going side by side with Smalley Balls. Oh, they have to be careful they don't have contact there. I've crashed out of league races there, making contact. 2 of them doing a much better job than I did a couple of years back. And Smalley Balls around the outside. What did I say during qualifying? The outside line proving to be very powerful on this occasion, and Smalley Balls taking P10, defending from Cross Liam or overtaking him. I'm not sure. Oh, as Cross Liam nearly puts it in the wall even. Cross Liam just barely keeping about 1 tire on the track, and now pulling back into that slipstream train. But now we can see, I think that's Bosch Evans pulling out to the inside of Smalley Balls. Can Bosch Evans make a move? Smalley Balls defends P10 for the time being. We'll see if Bosch Evans can put any pressure on the Mercedes driver. Those softs really paying off. Bosch Evans has gained 5 positions on lap 1, so he is nailing this. These softs are really working for him. We'll see how much more he can gain before they fall off the cliff, though. The softs will not last you very long at this track, so we'll see. Maybe he'll get lucky with a safety car or something, but it's not going to be easy from here on out, as Kenny has also dropped down to 3rd.
Sweet Crown overtook him on the straight before turn number 1, but the outlier is in 5th place on the medium compound tyres. He's looking to make progress. He uses a very wide line going out of turn 9 and turn 10. Lap before, I thought he was going off the track, but actually using all the curb he could get away with on the exit. But he's on the medium compound tyres looking to hunt down Jewel Bream. He's in this DRS train. DRS will be enabled on the next lap. How difficult for him will it be to negotiate his way around the field? Back at the Singapore Grand Prix, nobody could touch him whatsoever. He was absolutely dominant, but the only thing that could touch him was the safety car, and it cost him. Here comes Phil side by side with Jewel Bream as they make our way down the inside into the final corner, and he puts himself up into a nice 4th place there. 3 more cars left to go on the hard compound tyres. Let's see if he can make the move. He's using a lot of ERS now to try and stay ahead of Jewel Bream, who's on those hard compound tyres, looking to fight back as we go down into turn 1. Is Jewel Bream looking for a move here on the inside? No, he's not going to bail out for the time being. He knows he has DRS on the next lap, but Phil is up into P4, looking to make his way up to the field. Smalley Balls and Bosch Evans are fighting once again. The last time these two came close to the track was at the Mexican Grand Prix at the qualified. Look at this. Sweet Cloud is right behind Pease. Will he go for a move here? It's turn 4. No, he bears out the throttle and waits behind and sits in P2 for the time being. But Bosch Evans looks like he's got the move done on Smalley Balls, and these two came into contact in qualifying down at turn. I'm not even going to guess. I actually forgot, to be honest with you. But it was after the DRS straight in the final sector where they made contact, and Smalley Balls and Bosch Evans, I think they were out of the Grand Prix, out of qualifying, it must be said. But Phil then right behind Kenny. Will this DRS make it harder now to make its way through the field, as once again using a very wide line, and also his teammate doing the same thing but in different contexts? It looked like he was struggling coming out of turn 9 and turn 10, and Smalley Balls is re-overtaking Bosch Evans and puts his Mercedes up into P10, then back inside the top 10, trying to defend from the soft runner. And you can see Bosch Evans then using a lot of EOS, doing a good job so far. He's not really invested in F1 no more, is Bosch Evans. He's more focused on ACC, and by the sounds of things, I think he's doing a really good job. And if you haven't seen the CRL announcement, they're going to ACC very soon. There's still continuing league racing here in F1, but ACC has become very popular in the last few months, and all these drivers then, well, majority of drivers here in Cone will be transferring towards ACC. And here comes Sweet Crown making a move on the outside this time into turn 1. Does he get it stick? Yes, he does. He puts himself in the race lead then ahead. But the Red Bull in the background, that's Leo Aries, who's off into turn 1. Outbrake himself, and he's down into P10, now P11.
Here comes Pease.
And here comes
down
Pease.
the inside, Sweet Crown. Into turn 4, he makes the move. Sweet Crown tries to get a better line, switching to the outside very quickly. Sorry to interrupt you there, as there's also contact with Kenny for a moment. Pease is on the outside. Can he hold it? He does. There's almost contact. Sweet Crown barely still on the track. It's going to be the inside for Sweet Crown through turn 8. He nearly outbreaks himself. Where does Phil come from? He's in second, third, almost second now. He's going to be on the outside for turns 9 and 10. Can he make the move there? He gets forced just a little bit wide.
There's a spinner. Is that Kenny? Kenny spun.
Kenny's round.
Yeah, on the outside, I'm looking at the helicopter car, I can see everything. And Kenny, I don't think he got tapped, I think he just locked the rear brakes going down into turn 9 and turn 10. So unfortunately, Kenny has spun, and this is a big opportunity for ILT Phil to get P3 in the championship. Where's he rejoined? He's rejoined P15, who scored no points, whereas Phil will score a lot of points. So he might take him on for P3 in the championship. That's a big blow for Kenny's race, unfortunately. Looking good there inside. But look at Phil pulling alongside as Bosch Evans picks up another 3-second time penalty. Here comes Phil on the inside, but Pease defends it. He'll wait for the DRS. Look at the ERS management Pease has. I think Sweet Cloud's got the same, but he's headed off. No, he's not. Just fooled me there. I don't know why. I don't even know why I thought that, but I actually thought he was going to go in the pit lane, just breaking the slipstream as we head down towards turn 1. Here comes Pease. There's a spin.
Leo Aries spins in the background.
I saw that.
Sorry to cut you off.
It's all good.
Yeah, Pease taking the lead there again. That was a very confusing moment watching the background contact between 3 drivers, but Pease takes the lead. Sweet Crown's going to think about the outside at turn 4. Can he make the move? A minute amount of contact there. Sweet Crown's driver putting his hand up, saying, what the hell was that for? But they keep going side by side. On the outside of Sweet Crown, he backs out. He's going to tuck in behind Pease. He's going to look for a move. Where can he go for it? Not through turn 8. Is he going to wait for turn 9 and turn 10? Is he going to wait for even turn 11? We have to wait and see. Phil, of course, also lurking on the back of him. Will Phil be able to get a move in? Phil, looking to the inside, thinks better of it very quickly. He's just going to take that wide line that he always does, keeping his wheels on the sand quite a bit. He seems to like using that sand with his outside wheels. Let's see where this goes between this top 3 group. Between all of the drivers here in this front-running train, really. That entire top 10 in one long train.
I love the way that Pease and Sweet Crown continuously fight through the corners and not just sit behind waiting for the DRS. They're actually going for it too. But Phil, Sweet Crown's got to watch out for Phil now. He's right behind the Red Bull. I don't think he's going to go down the inside. I think there was a few changes to the midfield too. Smalley Balls, who was in P10 at one time, is now in P7. So he's caught himself a few positions. He's right behind Ferg as well. think he is behind him, right behind him. That's Julebeam, so I get confused between the Alpha Tyler and the Alpine. But here we are, going down into turn 1. Sweetcrown up the inside once again on P's to go wheel to wheel out of turn 1. Oh, contact! That's an Alpine who is round. Mercedes to get tagged as well. I just saw it in the background, not quite sure what happened there. But yeah, broke himself and tagged somebody. And those guys are falling down the order. Was it Ferg? I'm not quite sure. P's and Sweetcrown once again fighting into turn number 4 we go. And P's stays ahead of Sweetcrown for the time being, going down into turn 6 and turn 7. And this is great battling from these two. They've had a great battle in the past here before at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Down the inside goes Sieb on LT Phil, but not allowing that to happen as Nathan waiting patiently in the background there as Julebeam is almost outside the 1 second range of DRS. Now Nathan's overtaken up the inside into turn 9 and turn 10 ahead of Sieb, and that's a great move there from Nathan.
Yeah, very, very opportunistic moment there for Nathan. He saw a gap on the outside and went for it, and I've been saying it for about half the season now. These drivers are incredibly opportunistic. They see any opening, and they will take it, as Cross Liam miles off the track there, slowing down quite a bit in the gravel. Not sure what's going on there. Probably just trying not to rejoin dangerously, so good sportsmanship there from Cross Liam. But back up to the front, these drivers, as I was saying, so opportunistic. Any opportunity they get to make a move, they will take. And it is unbelievable to watch it as Phil now going down the inside of Sweetcrown. Sweetcrown has the DRS though, he has the slipstream as well. He's going to go down the inside of Pease. No, he thinks better of it. He just sits behind Pease for the time being. I wonder if he's thinking he could make a move into turn 4 with the DRS. Straight between turns 3 and 4. Cross Liam retires in the pits. An unfortunate end to the Alfa Romeo driver's season, as Sweetcrown still behind Pease, not getting an opportunity to make a move. Phil still sat behind him as well. And now it's really just this top 6 that are in that front-running group. A couple laps ago, it was the top 10 that were all really sat together. Now it's just the top 6. Julebeam rounding off that top group, and any of these top 6 could put themselves in the lead within the next few laps, I think.
So Smalley Balls pitted on the same lap while Sweetcrown and Phil were fighting each other for P2. So I'm not quite sure if that was a scheduled stop or a change of front wing for Smalley Balls, but he's rejoined down in P14. Now there's a spinner in the background, and was that pink car who's gone for a spin? Yes it was, so he's just spun coming out of turn 9 and turn 10, and proved to be a difficult corner for some drivers there, and he's rejoined in P11. I think he stayed in P11 with Kenny, who's up into P10 trying to... He spun there too a few laps ago, if you remember, so they're down there in P10 and P11 are the two drivers who spun going into that corner. But here we are, that once again all these drivers lined up to overtake each other, the top 6 in a massive DRS fight with Taupe, who's down in P7, followed by Kyle, who's doing a great job. There's a Haas who spun, that's Bosch Evans out of turn 12, he's gone for a spin. His teammate though is looking to make waves on Sweetcrown ahead of him, but able to do so as he stays in P3 for the time being, as he can't find a way past the Red Bull driver who's following the Alpine driver. So Sweetcrown's defensive skills are paying for perfection for him. He's able to keep the media runner behind him as much as he can, and using P's with DRS just to try and defend, as Nathan looking in the background there too to try and overtake, but can't quite do so. Kyle is right behind Taupe, he's fighting for P7 as Pink Eye has pitted there for a change of wing.
Yeah, and I want to point out, you can also see sort of Phil's desperation to get past in a way, as you'll notice he is about 30-odd% lower than the drivers around him on ERS. Nathan with an almost full tank of ERS, it is full at the moment. Comparatively, Phil on 44%, Sweetcrown and Pease on 79 and 84% respectively. So Phil much lower than his compatriots around him at the moment. In terms of ERS, as Bosch Evans taking a spin in turns 6 and 7, unfortunately for the Haas driver. One driver up in 3rd, the other in 13th. But Phil seems to have just gotten a very good run from that sort of penultimate group of corners on Sweetcrown. Sweetcrown's doing pretty well down the straights. I have to wonder if he has a lower downforce setup than the drivers around him, because he just seems to be so quick in the straights every single lap.
Like he's opening... Looks like he turned off his DRS and opened it again. Here comes Nathan on Phil, and Phil has fallen down into P4 now, so not able to make use of the medium compound tyres as he would have wanted. Nathan's involved in that fight, but Kyle has almost lost it going down into turn 1, as it's a heavy braking zone, and almost locked the rears up going down into turn number 1. As we go down into turn 4, Phil stays behind the Williams driver for the time being. So Nathan's involved in this battle again, as Tope's up the inside of Kyle going down into turn 4, and the AlphaTauri driver puts himself up into 7th place. And next time we say AlphaTauri, it'll be on the next game in the F1 2024, which will say VCorp next time. Same with Alfa Romeo, where we say Kick, Sauber or Stake, I'm not quite sure. But Leo Aries has set the fastest lap of the race there, and he pitted a few laps ago. Down in last place with Pink Kai in 14th place, who also pitted for a change of front wing. However, Sieb in the background getting all squirrely coming out of turn 9 and turn 10, and he's still right behind Phil then with the DRS helping, and Kyle is right behind the other AlphaTauri of Tope, who goes up the inside but bails out for the time being. Doesn't look like Kyle is confident on the brakes there. He seems to lock up the rears, and also Bosch Evans has spun again going into turn 8 where Lewis Hamilton crashed back at the 2008 race. I don't think it was the race. I think it was during practice or qualifying, but it was a big impact indeed. A lot of drivers used to struggle there back in league racing at turn 6 and turn 7 with the outside curb. Really easy to spin it there, but I don't think a lot of drivers struggle now. But as we go on to lap 10 out of 29 then, we see Phil still in P4. When he decides to pit to go on the hard compound tyres, he's stuck in this DRS train. He's got Steve right behind him, and he pulls out to the right hand side. So look at Phil is started to lose performance on those medium compound tyres. Sieb goes up the inside. He takes 4th place away from the Haas, and he's up to 4th place. Is Sieb then trying to get another podium or trying to make amends after the Dutch Grand Prix after he spun and crashed at turn number 10.
Yeah, well, I have to say this front group is still so close. It's really fantastic to see that top 6 so close together. We've got a few different trains emerging during this race at the moment. P7 to P10, admittedly quite spread out for a train, but all sort of trailing pretty close to each other. And of course that top 6 as well, all very close together, as I think IRT Sieb locking up through turns 9 and 10. And Phil once again going very wide on the exit of turn 10. We can tell that that's his racing line, but interesting to see him being the only driver really using that really wide exit line. I'm not sure that's actually helping him very much, but he seems to be pretty confident it is. So, to be fair, I'm more likely to trust his judgment than my own in terms of speed, what's faster on an F1 game, because let me tell you, these drivers are so quick. I'd be lapped by most of these guys very, very easily. There was a reason I'm down in Tier 3, and these guys are up in Tier 1. These guys are just so quick. So I think we'll continue. Oh, actually,
contact
on the outside.
There's contact
and
with Sieb.
Yeah, Sieb around. And Julbreen making a move on Phil, but with that contact, all of that getting a little bit sketchy there. Phil's going to come back to the inside now. Julbreen making an aggressive defensive move, but makes it work, and Phil's going to have to sit behind for a moment longer. Phil, he might get better traction here, not quite. He just has to slot in behind Julbreen. Julbreen moving across the track a little bit to showcase the fact that he is in fact ahead, and that he is not in danger of being overtaken, just sort of defending aggressively there. But aggressively, yes, but fairly as well, I would say. And I need to sneeze, so I'm going to let you take over.
Yeah, Sieb spinning out of turn number 1 there, very odd mistake indeed, as we watched Phil taking that very wide line through there. And I'm not quite sure if that's the best way to go, but like I said, it's in his best interest, and not to my judgment either, because I don't take that outside curve at all. I tend to avoid it. But here comes Tope on Kyle once again, with the likes of Ferg catching up, and Kenny's catching up too. Tope goes a bit wide. Will Kyle look for a way through? No, he doesn't. He sits behind the AlphaTauri for the next few corners we go, with Ferg right behind too in P9 and Kenny down in P10. But I think Ferg, yeah, the reason why he's down in P9 because I think he spun and got tagged a few laps ago and spun all the way to the back, but he's back in this fight again inside the top 10 and still going. There's no safety car yet to help some people's races, but we go back to the front of the field. I would love to watch these guys race, but Sweet Cloud takes the lead off Pease going down into turn 1, and look at Pease's ERS there. He can sit behind Sweet Cloud and trade places all day long. And in the background here comes Ferg, who will try to overtake the
smaller balls round, sorry.
The final corner?
Yeah, sorry, I just, that caught me off guard, apologies. for that interruption, as Ferg going down the inside of Taupe can't quite make the move. Looks like he locks the rears for a moment. Is that going to be both McLarens through? Not quite. Kyle makes it through, but Kenny's now going to have to wait and see when his opportunity is going to come around. And as you mentioned, Sweet Crown having overtaken Pease, that's a good move there for the Red Bull driver.
So that DRS train keeps splitting up then. Now it went from the top 8 to the top 5 now with Sieb, the latest driver to drop out of that DRS. He's 2 seconds behind now. So him dropping out of DRS, that's what I was talking about. It's so crucial because you've got 3 DRS zones around here. It looks like Jewelry's very close to the back of Nathan, the man who took pole, but unfortunately had a 5 players grid penalty due to illegal blocking, due to contact. And Bosch Evans has gone for a spin where Nikita Mazepin spun out turn number 3 in 2021 at the start of the Grand Prix. Lasted Valtteri Bottas pit stop lasted longer than Nikita Mazepin's first race here at Bahrain after he crashed out at turn number 3. Just lost traction by himself. But here we are then. Very good stuff indeed between the top guys here, racing very cleanly and fairly. We've got both McLarens versus the AlphaTauri Taupe, and Pease is right behind Sweet Crown again. Here he is, looking to make an overtake. It's up into P1. The guys behind in P3 and P4 in that middle part of that DRS train not able to make an influence on the top 2. Kyle and Kenny up to P7 and P8 now. Both McLarens go wheel to wheel. It's turn number 1 with Kenny going around the outside. Has the inside line for the next corner, but Kyle has the outside line and he sweeps through with Taupe there. Look, gets to the better exit. Look at that. Kyle's going to drop down the order. He has no DRS. He's going to lose 3 places there as we go down into turn number 4. We've got Taupe up the inside of Kenny. And here we are out of turn number 4 then, with Kenny trying to stick around the outside. Taupe has track position for the time being, and he slots himself up into P7. This is great battle indeed. Look at Ferg around the outside at turn 7, going down into turn 8 there. Had great momentum out of the corner. Goes up the inside there of Kenny. Does he get the move done? There's still wheel to wheel as we go down into turn 9 and turn 10. Kenny has the advantage, but Ferg breaking later, but still can't quite get his man. This is great battling between the top 4. Kyle was the first person in this train at turn 1, and now he's last in it.
Yeah, wow, it just shows you how much things can change in the space of just a few seconds, really. These drivers swapping positions continuously, and it's impossible to say when they'll next swap positions. For all we know, by turn 5 next lap, Kyle could be in the front of this train again. It's really, really impossible to say, but at the moment it is Taupe ahead of Kenny, ahead of Ferg, ahead of Kyle for this little train, this little gaggle of cars towards the end of the top 10. And in the no man's, it's actually Kenny going ahead and Taupe going into the pit lane. So Taupe won't be leading that train any longer. He's into the pit lane. Bosch Evans spinning again. Let's see what tires Taupe puts on. He puts on a set of hards. And I do just want to say this is going to sound bizarre, but I actually have one thing to say in Nikita Mazepin's defense for that, for the comment you made about him not lasting as long as Valtteri Bottas' pit stop, which is, if you remember Monaco 2021, Valtteri Bottas' pit stop there, no driver's race has ever lasted as long as that one of Valtteri Bottas' pit stops. So, not quite as bad as it sounds, but no, he was still pretty bad for Nikita Mazepin, on debut in 2021. But all the drivers here today doing much better than Nikita Mazepin did, especially Pease and Sweet Crown at the front of the grid. Sweet Crown still putting a lot of pressure on Pease. Both of these drivers on pretty much a full tank of VRS, as well as Nathan. It's really Julebream and Phil who are struggling on ERS at the moment. And Sieb desperately trying to catch up, also pretty low, as Bosch Evans spinning again. So unfortunate for the Haas driver. He's been struggling a lot throughout the season, spinning the car around. But I believe you mentioned he's doing quite well on ACC, so we'll see if he has even more success, or if he has a bit more success on that game when CRL makes a partial switch there, as we see some drivers in the background going into the pit lane. Ferg and Kyle both into the pits, reacting to Taupe having pitted just a lap or two earlier. And let's wait and see what tires they go on to. That's Ferg putting the mediums on. How about Kyle? Kyle will also put on the mediums, I believe. Let's take a quick look at that. No, sorry, Kyle putting on a set of the hards. So we'll see, where does Taupe come out in comparison to those two? Taupe is out of the pit lane, or apologies, Ferg is out of the pit lane, Taupe is right next to him. Don't Esteban Gutierrez and Pastor Maldonado this, guys. We do not need any upside-down cars today, as they managed to come out of turn 1 cleanly. But it's going to be Ferg with the DRS now. Can he make a move round the outside of Taupe into turn 4? He's got the fresh tires, he's got the softer tires, but they're going to be colder tires at the moment, and he can't make the move quite yet, as a yellow flag again for Bosch Evans. Looks like Bosch Evans might be heading into the pit lane now, and speeding in the pit lane, yeah. That is just the disastrous day for Bosch Evans. He retires from the race in the pit lane. Just not at all what he needed today, unfortunately. Just not going his way, and that is the end of the Haas drivers season.
Yeah, indeed, but oh, I thought there was a bit of a lag spot between Nathan and Yulbeam. Yulbeam had to back out the throttle. Here comes Nathan in the pit lane, and somebody else behind him is in the pit lane too. I thought 2 drivers went to the pit lane. It was just my eyesight. I don't know who else. I think Seeb was in the pit lane too. So out of the pits comes the Haas of Bosch Evans going to park up alongside the track. So Nathan in this train has opted to go for fresher tyres and do the undercut on the guys ahead. Will this undercut pay off as well? It's going to be a big undercut around here in Bahrain, especially with the high speed corners around here too, and mid speed corners with heavy braking zones. So we'll see if Nathan can leapfrog the top 5, and interestingly Phil, who stayed out there longer on the medium compound tyres in comparison to Nathan, who's on the hard compound tyres, now on the mediums, as Boompje has overtaken Seeb. 2 good friends, of course, in P7 and in P8 there. Seeb on a fresher set of the medium compound tyres, also looking to go for an undercut if he can, but he needs to clear Boompje first on those old hard compound tyres. In the background, Ferg has overtaken Taupe, and he's put himself up into P9s on those medium compound tyres, of course, so he should be a little bit quicker in comparison towards Kyle. Taupe as well. Kenny, who's also opted to stay out there a bit longer. Up the inside goes Siemens, turn number 8, gets the move done immediately, not waiting any longer than he would have wanted, of course, but he's up into P7 now, ahead of the Williams driver, who spun early on in this race, fall down on lap 1, and he's still there in P8 trying to go for as long as he can, just waiting for a safety car or something to come out to try and energize this race. But these guys are staying out, except Yulbeam. Yulbeam is in the pit lane too to go on the medium compound tyres. So let's see when Nathan rejoins in comparison to this. C picks up a 3-second tyre penalty as well, pushing very hard on that Ferrari, but a bit too much as well for good measure, as Kenny has also pitted to end this stint on those hard compound tyres, go towards the mediums on the end of the race as well. So the top 2 and Phil on those mediums have opted to stay out there. Phil's carrying some good pace on those mediums despite being 16 lap old, and here comes Nathan now. Where will he rejoin in comparison to Yulbeam? Way ahead, and there he is then as we go up into turn number 1. Yulbeam is behind Nathan, so that indicates Nathan will take the lead of the Grand Prix once the top 3 pit.
Yeah, that does seem like a likely outcome. The undercut proving to be very powerful here today, and so Phil, Pease, and Sweet Crown, my advice to them is just don't battle. Keep pushing on as hard as you can to minimize your time loss to Nathan, because Nathan is continuously gaining on them. You can see his gap to Phil going down by a 1/10 every couple seconds. He is just gaining so much time. He was about 20.6 seconds back at the beginning of this lap, I believe. Already 19.8 seconds back from Phil. So Nathan absolutely chewing down on that gap, and Yulbeam not too far behind Nathan, but 2.2 seconds, so he's not really within striking distance, and we'll see how Yulbeam does in comparison to Phil, Pease, and Sweet Crown when they come out of the pits, and all 3 of those top 3 are coming into the pits on this occasion. So listening to our advice, understanding that it's time to pit, and Seeb is around. Seeb down to 9th after another spin, so not at all what the Ferrari driver will have wanted, and let's just wait and see, where does Nathan come out. Let's see, Pease on the hards, or apologies, on the mediums, Sweet Crown also on the mediums, Phil puts on the softs, and Nathan goes into the lead. So Nathan CRL, Nathan JB17 into the lead of the race. Yulbeam takes 2nd. So Sweet Crown all the way down to 3rd, Pease down to 4th, and Phil down to 5th, and Seeb retires from the pits in the pit, or retires from the race in the pit lane, unfortunately.
Yeah, so Seeb's season has ended, unfortunately, and that's another DNF added to his name after fighting for P4 in the drivers, and he won't be scoring any more points tonight, unfortunately for him. He might get jumps from the guys behind like Boompje too. So Boompje is still in P8 on 17-lap-old hard compound tyres, as Pink Eye has overtaken Smalley Balls, and it's a shame for Pink Eye as well because he's had some great pace. He's I think he first joined the league a few races ago. I remember him racing him in Singapore. I think he crashed out during Singapore too. I'm not quite sure because he was in the DRS train at one point, or I think it was another race which I'm referring to, because he was in the train, then all of a sudden he fell out of it. It was Monza. He was in that DRS train, then all of a sudden he just dropped out of it. I remember asking too where he was, then he said he was out of the race or something like that, or he had made contact with somebody. I think he made contact with Nathan at one point too, because I was behind Nathan, and those two made contact. I think Pink Eye had a bit of wind damage or so, but he's had some great pace, CPI Pink Eye. And he scored a podium too back at the Singapore Grand Prix, I believe it was. I actually got the race results, but here comes Phil right behind Pease then. So Phil should be very quick on these soft compound tyres. 11 laps, it's doable. But how good would those soft compound tyres be towards the end of the Grand Prix? We'll find out. His tyre management is really great as well, and not as sufficient as other drivers as well, because some drivers can really stretch the tyres towards the end of the Grand Prix. It's all about tyre management, or how you manage the tyres as well, not taking too much life out of them. And Kenny and Kyle are still together fighting for P8. Boompje has gone from hards to softs as well, so let's see how many positions he can gain towards the end of the race as well. But Phil, he can't afford to be stuck in this DRS train. He needs to utilise these soft compound tyres to his advantage. As he goes off the track, he gets a 3-second time penalty. With that amount of grip he has, he outbroke himself, almost took out Pease, and had to take a avoiding action against a 3-second time penalty. So, unfortunately for Phil, ambition ahead of Hejim there, and it's cost him as well. Still taking that same line too.
Yeah, really, it's very interesting to see Phil doing that every single lap. The IRT driver clearly knows something about this track that the others don't, because he seems very, very confident in taking that line. But at the moment, it's Nathan over a second out in front, so that undercut has really paid off. He has very, very little ERS left, admittedly, but he's got more than Jewel Green, and he's over a second out in front, so he has broken the DRS gap. Yeah, as you can see there, Jewel Green not opening the DRS, but Sweet Crown, Pease, and Phil all opening it. Just as the three of them chasing down that top two, trying to make the move. Phil looks down the inside of Pease, can't get the move on this occasion. The IRT and Relentless drivers battling it out there. Up into turn 4, let's see, nobody able to make a move on this occasion. Sweet Crown still sitting behind Jewel Green. Jewel Green really needing to save ERS. That red light on the back of his car flashing, and there's a safety car.
Somebody must have lost their wing then. Let's
Pink
have a
Eye.
look. Oh yeah, it is. Look at that.
Pink Eye, yeah.
That's very weird. He just spun the
how's
straight.
he done it there?
Did he make contact with somebody? Like, Leo Aries was around him at the time. It's either a very silly mistake or just clipped the grass, or someone's made contact with him. But the safety car has changed a lot of things, and then there's 9 laps left to go. Is anybody considering a pit stop to go on the soft compound tyres? I think the guys in the midfield might think about it. I think they should do. It brings guys like Kenny back together, Ferg too, Tope, who's been outside the DRS train ever since that contact with Ferg into turn number 1, and if Steve just stayed in the race, what could it have been? But yeah, you never know when a safety car comes out. It's just a look really to see if it benefits you or not. But unfortunately, Steve is out of this race. Boompje back in this train too with Pink Eye, and we'll see as well what happens towards the later stages of this Grand Prix with a safety car coming out. So I don't know what these guys will do. Will they decide to go to soft compound tyres for the last 8 or 9 laps of this Grand Prix, have fresher tyres towards the end? Looks like Nathan considering it. Yes, he is. So these guys are boxing for new tyres, every single one of them, the top 5 in the pit lane, and what a great shot there too. So I think everybody's going to finish the race on a set of soft compound tyres.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very interesting end to the race. We'll see who has the edge on soft compound tyres. 9 laps on those tyres, mind you, will take a toll on them. I'm sure the tyres will make it to the end of it, but it will not be... the tyres will not be pretty, let's put it that way.
And Sweet Crown has gone on the medium compound tyres. If you remember in Singapore, he did the exact same thing, and unfortunately for him, it didn't benefit him because he almost lost a podium as a certain ILT Indigo almost overtook him, but couldn't find a way through at the time. Yeah, I was right behind him, but I just couldn't overtake him because he was that quick. But let's see if the mediums benefit him this time. I think he prefers the medium compound tyres in Sweet Crown, or maybe he doesn't have a set of fresh softs in his disposal to go towards the end of the Grand Prix, because he might have used them all in qualifying. But we'll see. Some of these drivers could have used softs, or any of these drivers could have a brand new set of soft compound tyres. Phil's already used one, but bearing in mind though, we didn't see Phil towards the later stages of qualifying, so he could have another set of softs saved in his disposal to use for the situations like these, for the late safety cars. You've got to be very tactical to how you use your tyres, because you don't know when a safety car comes out. It's hurt me in the past too, because in qualifying you have 3 sets of soft compound tyres and you use them all obviously to do your laps, but you might have to sacrifice one and do your qualifying in the middle of it when 10 minutes left to go, not go out early, just sacrifice that set of softs to use early or late in the race. Maybe you don't have to use a set of soft compound tyres at all during the race, because the safety car might never appear in the latter stages. You just save a set of softs, sacrificing your lap for no reason. But you got to think about situations like this, the possibilities of a safety car, what's the chance of it, the track, how difficult is the track, how likely a driver is going to crash, etc. And here we are then with the medium compound tyres and the soft compound tyres. I hate it when late safety cars come out, because I'm not the type of person to save a set of softs. I like to go for a lot of qualifying runs, because I'm not consistent like these drivers. It takes me a while to set a decent lap time. Like, some people can go out the pit lane and just set a blistering lap in one go. Like, we've seen it this season, I've seen it in other league races, whereas me, I do a very poor lap time as a banker, then later on I get better, I improve about 8 or 9 tenths after that lap. So that's the skill set you've got to have as well during these qualifying and races, just to get a lap time on there as well. But towards the end of the race, I think it was Abu Dhabi, I was in the league race, and I did not have a set of softs saved. The safety car came out with 4 laps to go. I was in the race lead on the medium compound tyres, and I was ahead of everybody. The safety car came out, I had to put on a scrub set of softs, where everybody was on a brand new set of softs, and that 1 or 2 lap old softer tyres cost me a lot, because despite leading majority of the race, I had dropped the order dramatically and didn't even score a podium on that day, which is very frustrating. So safety car can make or break people's races, and we're about to find out who has got an advantage. Will it be Sweet Crown on those medium compound tyres? We'll see.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually, personally, I'm quite the opposite too. I very, very much enjoy late safety cars. Personally, I thrive on chaos when it comes to league racing. I'm very good at just sort of weaving my way through a pack when it comes to chaotic moments, which is why I'm very good at race starts and I'm very good at safety car restarts, whereas maybe my pace is often a bit lacking compared to others. So chaos is really where I shine. So personally, I love a late safety car, and I think it's always great because I always do have a set of softs saved. But to each their own, and the majority of these drivers, of course, are on fresh softs. Pink Eye and Sweet Crown both on mediums, but nonetheless, I think this is going to be a very interesting final few laps, as it is safety car in this lap.
For a track like Singapore, I was thinking about going to the medium compound tyres, but I made a very late call to go on scrub set of soft compound tyres, which almost benefited me in the end, with Sweet Crown right ahead of me, trying to fight for P3, but I just couldn't quite get it because my soft compound tyres just overheated towards the end of the Grand Prix. I was right behind him in turn number 1, but I couldn't get the exit out of turn number 4 or turn 5 to get him down into turn 7. But let's see then, is Sweet Crown in a disadvantage on those medium compound tyres? There's still quite a few laps left to go for these soft compound tyres, and these softs are not great during race trim either, so Sweet Crown could be in a bit of advantage as well if he could keep the pace up during this early phase on the soft compound tyres. But here we are then, Nathan will determine when to go as the safety car is in, and he could go whenever he feels like it. The others have to have cat-like reactions, and off he goes. A bit of wheel spin for good measure too as he went. But here we are then, let's see if anything dramatic happens down into turn number 1. All 14 cars in this shot going down into turn number 1. What about Pease? Will he go to the inside of Sweet Crown? He'll try to, but not enough alongside. A bit of contact here between Ferg and Phil. as they go wheel to wheel, as Phil is ahead of Ferg for the time being. Then he's also on the soft compound tyres, but he has got a 3-second tyre penalty. So Phil, who's trying to go for his first win of the season, be very unlikely now with that 3-second time penalty, because he's the only one inside the top 10. Well, Kyle has as well, but Leo Aries once again looks like he's struggling. He's down in P13, and yeah, look at that Aston Martin pig car who's really squirming in these corners. Down the inside goes Smalley Balls. He carried a lot of speed. He just managed to slow down before he hit the back of Kyle. Kyle did a great job inside the top 10. Former league racer as well, as Kyle doesn't do it full time. As you can see, Pig Kai once again defending from Smalley Balls. He's on those medium compound tyres, of course, but Nathan is leading this race ahead of Jewelry. Sweet Crown is still in P3, but he's got P's all over the back of him, and Nathan's managed to break 1 second as well ahead of Jewelry. So he's trying to do that before the DRS is activated. This is good now. This is good now for Nathan for having the safety car to come out, because he was on older tyres, and 2 or 3 lap older tyres does make a huge difference in this game, as I found out back at the Dutch Grand Prix. And the safety cars really helped him to put on a set of softs and be back in, well, be in a level playing field with the rest of them.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying entirely. I think the softer tires, of course, it's useful to be on softs that are the same age, but when you have fresher tires than the people around you, you get a massive advantage. And so, of course, everyone around Nathan would have ended up with that advantage. As Phil trying to go for a move on Sweet Crown, those mediums really hurting Sweet Crown at the moment. I don't think I've ever seen him really dropping down like this before. I admit, I say that he is holding position quite well, admittedly, but Sweet Crown, more to the point, he's not really gaining any positions, and he's under pressure from Phil, who's going to go down the inside of turn 8. He locks up a little bit, he can't quite make the move. Now it's going to be Ferg, sat on the back of Phil. Will Ferg go for a move? Phil's going to be wide on the exit of this corner if he follows the line he's used every other lap. He does once again, but Ferg gets a little bit of oversteer out of the corner as Boompje off the track for a moment there. Boompje in 9th. He's got Smalley Balls on the back of him, but he looks safe for the time being. Back up at the front, we've got Peas on the back of Jewelry. That's sort of our closest gap at the moment. 3.8 tenths, 3.6 tenths. Back from Jewelry is Ariel Peas. We'll see if Peas is able to make any overtakes in that Alpine. The 2 Relentless drivers both looking quite close to the car in front of them at the moment. Both Relentless drivers, Peas and Ferg. And, it's a big snap of oversteer for Phil, and I believe there was something for Jolbream there for a moment, as Peas on the inside, nearly into the pit wall. Peas is on the inside. Can he brake later? He brakes a little bit later. Is it going to be late enough, though? He's on the inside. That's going to turn into the outside. Can Peas hold it? He can't quite. He goes off track. He's in the gravel. He's going to lose time from that. Will Sweet Crown be close enough to capitalize? He will not. Not even close. But Jewelbring now within a second of Nathan. Nathan needs to pull away again. He has done exactly that. He's already gained a 1/10.5. So we'll see if Jewelbring can pull himself right back into that DRS gap, or if Nathan has just saved himself.
Yeah, the final corner, we saw Jewelbream have a bit of a wobble on. Same with Phil. They both managed to save the car, but that was great defending from Jewelbream. I think he should have let Pease have a bit more room going down into turn number 3. Pease had to go off the road, but luckily not in a spin, because once you go through the gravel at full speed, you usually light up the rear tyres and end up losing traction and in a spin. But crucially, Nathan is still breaking that 1 second range of DRS. He was very close of being in danger within the DRS threat. As you can see there, Jewelbream is harvesting already with the flashing light at the back of the AlphaTauri. Pease is right behind him with a sufficient amount of ERS, it must be said as well. So once again, Pease will put the pressure on Jewelbream, and we'll see if Jewelbream can defend from this, because he's done it once, but with the lack of ERS, it might be a bit difficult with Sweet Crown 2 in the background. Nathan with 3 laps left to go in this race in P1 with a gap of 1.5 seconds. The battle for P2 is on. Here comes Pease on Jewelbream, and what about the Dutchman of Sweet Crown? Yes, he does then. Here we go on Jewelbream. That was a very easy move indeed. In the background, there's Kenny. There is Phil. And let's see what happens down this turn 1. Kenny there alongside Phil. Phil holding it on the inside line now into turn 2. Going into turn number 3. And Phil still has the edge over Kenny. But Kenny, with a bit more ERS, has overtaken him to go wheel to wheel. As we can see there in the background, in the foreground, sorry. There's Jewelbream versus Ferg. Jewelbream is starting to lose positions now. Starting to struggle a bit on those soft compound tyres. Ferg is going to go around the outside into turn 6 and turn 7. Give him a bit of a squeeze on there, but gets the move done. but Yulbrim has the inside line going into turn number 8, outbreaks himself, goes out wide and pushes Ferg wide too, and here comes Kenny looking for a move on Ferg. He capitalises after a bad exit, down the inside he goes into the double left-hander, and Ferg is still around the outside. Can he stick it? Yes he can. Kenny with a bit of wheel spin, but what a great defence there from Yulbrim to stay ahead for the time being. He did outbreak himself going down into turn number 8, but yeah, it looks like he's struggling with those soft compound tyres, and Kenny's got out wide into turn number 11 now. Phil might take advantage, but Kenny has the race in line and he stays in P6. This is great action, but however, at the front of the field, Nathan finds himself in a bit of bother in the last few laps of this race because Pease has found some pace and now he's in DRS range of Nathan then, and Speedcrown looking good on those medium compound tyres too. He said he was struggling in the early phase, but looks like he's found some pace. You can see them derated down the straight, all of them, as we go on to lap 27 out of 29. 3 more laps left to go. Here comes the Mercedes and spoiling ball on Phil, who's dropping backwards. Kenny might get 2 of them on the straight then. You can see Yulbrim defending. He might be vulnerable going down into turn number 1. Kenny takes 4th place away. This is great recovery drive for Kenny, who's spun early on in this race as well. I think Phil almost spun too, going out of turn number 1 here. As we go out of turn 3, Kenny versus Yulbrim. I think Yulbrim has the DRS. Neither driver has DRS. They cross the detection point at the same time, and Kenny's up the inside. What about Ferg take advantage of Yulbrim? Yulbrim is dropping down the order dramatically. He's down into 6th, maybe 7th there with spoiler balls all over the back of him. Those soft compound tyres, but Kenny's made a mistake and he's allowed Ferg through. As we go, oh mate, contact between spoiler balls, and spoiler balls are spun there because I think Yulbrim turned in at the same time as well. And more actually going on in this midfield here with Phil, Yulbrim and Kenny. Kenny's lost out a few places too. He's going back up the inside now of Phil, but we need to keep an eye on the top 3 because they're ever so close with Pease having the DRS on Nathan, but Speedcar's right behind Pease 2 and Smalley Balls. He was looking to finish at about 6th, 7th or 8th. He's fallen down into 11th place outside the top 10. This is dramatic stuff there, but it could get more dramatic with the top 3 fighting out soon.
Yeah, only 2 laps left of the race when we cross the line this time, and I am extremely excited to see how this goes. It is impossible to tell who will win between that top 3, and it's impossible to tell who will get 4th between 4th and, well, truth be told, 10th. That entire group has a shot at 4th. It is a beautiful looking train there, actually, as they go down the main straight. But it's going to be Nathan down to 2nd, down to 3rd even. Sweetcrown and Pease are both through. Pease in the lead. Nathan's going to fight back with Sweetcrown. Sweetcrown not going to be able to fully make the move yet, but he's got the DRS. He's going to be through. He's going to be ahead of Nathan. He is indeed now ahead of Nathan. Sweetcrown on the mediums, keeping up with this group, and I wonder if he will even be able to overtake Pease. Are the softs wearing out too much? You can see a lot of marbles on the tires. They're getting a lot of pickup so far, going offline. I don't know exactly how realistically this game simulates the marbles, but you can definitely see them at some places, and the drivers will probably be wanting to try and avoid those. I think it does simulate the effect of going offline and onto the marbles a little bit, but let's see here. Sweetcrown on the back of Pease. Sweetcrown will surely be looking to make a move pretty soon, and Phil right on the back of Ferg. So there's 2 Alpines at danger of being overtaken, as we're now going to head down towards the penultimate and final corners and start our final lap as Pink Eye into the wall. So Pink Eye will not be taking that 4th position. He was in that train that I said all of them could get 4th position, but he definitely will not be getting it now as we start the final lap of the race. It's going to be Nathan right behind Sweetcrown. He's right on the back of him. He's going to go past him. He's going to be into 2nd in a moment. No, Sweetcrown's slipstream's going to help him. They were nearly 3 wide into turn 1 on this lap. Nathan into 2nd for the moment. Can he hold it on the inside of Sweetcrown? Sweetcrown's on the curb. Sweetcrown's on his inside down towards turn 4. But it's going to be Nathan with the slipstream. Pease looks safe out in front. Nathan can't break as late as Sweetcrown. Sweetcrown on the inside, turn 4. Entering sector 2 of the final lap. Nathan pulls ahead into this little S section here. And it is now Sweetcrown in 3rd. He's going to, on the curb, riding along it like Tony Hawk there. But Sweetcrown down to 3rd, and we'll see if Nathan will get any opportunities on Pease. In this final lap, there is so much chaos going on. It is impossible to know where to look because Ferg is also ahead of Jewel Green now. Phil and Kenny right on the back of them as well. You're muted if you're talking. Sweet Crown on the back of Nathan and Peas though. Peas in the lead in first. Nathan is second. Is Nathan gonna have one more potential overtaking opportunity? Surely Peas is safe. Surely the Alpine, surely the relentless driver can take it. Are you back on the mic, Jamie? Are you there? No, he doesn't appear to be. It is going to be the Alpine, Ariel Peas, who takes the win in the final race of the season. Season 10 rounded out with a Peas victory. Nathan second, Sweet Crown third. It's going to be Ferg fourth, Jewel Bream fifth, Kenny sixth, seventh is Leo Aries, eighth after a time penalty is IRT Phil, who's now left the session, but he was eighth. Ninth then will be Tote, 10th will be Smalley Balls, 11th will be Kyle, 12th Boompje, and 13th will be Pink Eye. So that is the end of the season. I'm not sure what has happened to Jamie, unfortunately, but that is Season 10 done for you. That is Peas, your final race winner of Season 10. You can see the fireworks going off for the drivers there if you're on any of the onboard cams. Boompje deciding to do some donuts just to celebrate the end of Season 10. That is that. And it has been wonderful. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time as a full-time comms this season on Tier 1, getting to watch the best of the best in CRL, and we'll see you next season. Yeah, that is wonderful. What a phenomenal way to end the season, it must be said. A fantastic race. Ariel Ferg handed the driver of the day by the game. Indigo, if you're there, do you have anyone you would say is your driver of the day?